Coming up on today's episode, Kuki prepares for an international trip. Spain prepares for the World Cup. And I'm preparing for the possibility that a 10-pound Shih Tzu may refuse to stay inside his carrier for 8 hours.
Welcome to the Shihtz Show, your emotional pod. Welcome to the Shihtz Show, your emotional pod.
Welcome back to the Shihtz Show, the podcast about everyday life with a Shih Tzu who contributes absolutely nothing and still runs the household. I'm Daisy, Cookie's overworked butler, and apparently the travel coordinator for a dog who believes airline regulations don't apply to him. Let's get into it. On Cookie's news desk today, apparently all anyone can talk about lately is soccer. The World Cup is coming to our area very soon. Not that Cookie cares. This is a dog who has never, ever fetched a ball in his entire life. But while humans are preparing for the World Cup, dogs are apparently getting involved too. A puppy soccer tournament called World Pup on LG channels is launching this week, featuring rescue puppies competing in their own version of the World Cup. Frankly, Cookie finds the entire concept exhausting. He believes all sports should be watched from a comfortable bed. And speaking of international competition, do you know which country is home to one of the most valuable soccer clubs in the world? Most people guess England, but they'd be wrong. It's actually Spain. If you guess Spain correctly, you get a high paw from Cookie and whatever price the butler can still afford, which after paying for health certificates, airline paperwork, USDA forms, expedited FedEx fee, and enough travel documents to qualify Cookie for diplomatic immunity. The price is currently 1 carat, or maybe 2. And speaking of Spain, Cookie will be arriving there in about a week. The amount of paperwork required to move one 10-pound Shih Tzu across the Atlantic deserves its own episode, which means there's a good chance you'll be hearing more about that very soon. Cookie has contributed absolutely nothing to the process. Confession: Cookie has flown exactly once in his life. It was a short flight from Chicago to New York, and he did not enjoy being inside the carrier at all. Within 10 minutes, he was staring at me like I'd personally betrayed him. Then came the pawing, the dramatic sighs, the negotiations, and eventually Cookie ended up sitting on my lap for most of the flight. Which brings us to the current situation. In about a week, this same dog will be flying across the Atlantic. He thinks we're going on vacation. I have concerns. Cookie's it item this week: his travel carrier. Not because he's excited about flying, he isn't. But after weeks of preparation, forms, approvals, and logistics, it's officially become the most important item in this household. Cookie spends most of his time pretending not to care about it, which usually means he's already claimed ownership. That's all for today's episode of The Shit Show. Cookie's travel preparations continue at their current pace. We'll have some international stories to report very soon. Until then, you can follow Cookie on Instagram at cookie.shitshow. And if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow The Shit Show wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Daisy, Cookie's butler. Cookie is mentally somewhere over the Atlantic. See you next Tuesday.